Hello and welcome. My name's Marie and this is my yarn journey. Today's video is something a little bit different. I have decided that I wanted to pull out my hand knit sweaters, look back through them and understand or look at what went well, what I liked in each pattern, what didn't go well, and talk about all that with you. I thought that would be interesting to record as I'm thinking of doing it anyway. What inspired me to do the video was watching, first of all, I was watching a couple of Nikitina Knits videos. She does a lot of in-depth videos about you know, pattern choices, patterns that are out there, fibres to match to patterns and yarns to match to patterns. And she goes into great detail. And when choosing a pattern, she really considers a lot of things which become more apparent as you become more experienced as a knitter. And means that research, that upfront looking into things a lot more in detail, hopefully then transpires to a better finished garment and a garment that you love to wear in your wardrobe. Now, over the last few years that I've got back into knitting, I have knit quite a few sweaters, and I thought now would be a good time to go back through them, reflect, and like I say, see which I liked, which worked well, which I gravitate to wearing day to day, and then what I'd do differently in the future, and also if I can modify any of the sweaters in my wardrobe to make them more wearable garments. And yeah, I was also watching a video from Wild Knits Glasgow, and she was and this is another reason that inspired me to get the sweaters out, because she was talking about how to choose a pattern that you are going to love to knit and love to wear. And it was a really inspiring video. I think I mentioned it on one of my podcast episodes. And she got out from her wardrobe not just her hand knitted sweaters, she also got out all sweaters that she loves to wear, so she could compare them, measurements, all that sort of thing. And I haven't actually got any other sweaters other than hand knitted, I don't think, in my wardrobe. So I've got a couple of cardigans that are not hand knitted. Other than that, all my sweaters are hand knitted. So yeah, I'm going to go through them today. I've got 6 sweaters that I want to talk to you about. And yeah, let's get started. So the first sweater that I'm going to talk to you about today is the one that I'm wearing, and that is my Paul sweater by Moreca Knits. I absolutely love this sweater. I originally got inspired to do this pattern because I saw another YouTuber wearing it, and it is Eliza's Knitting Stories, I think her channel's called. Unfortunately, I don't think she does content on YouTube anymore, because I used to really enjoy her content, and she lived in Italy, and she'd I think she actually test knitted this pattern, and I just liked the fit of it. I especially liked the V-neck, but it wasn't a low V-neck, which I thought would fit me well. I hope you can see that. And then the overall vibe of the sweater being oversized and cozy. It wasn't like anything I'd knit before, I don't think, apart from the next one, which is the one I may have knitted just before. But at that point I'd basically done mainly a few raglans, and this was a different construction for me to try. Now, unbeknownst to me, I had no idea the amount of hours that was going to go into this knitting, and I think it did get put aside a few times. Also, when knitting this, I did have a new yarn that I was using, and that is a Wool Knits cone, and I got their merino, and I'm not sure, I think the colourway may have been Plato, I can't remember. But I absolutely love the colour. I love purple of any kind really, and I wanted a lovely warm sweater for winter, and this definitely turned out that way. What I would say is that when I didn't enjoy knitting with this yarn. It was quite splitty, and I think I was holding it double, which made it a little bit more difficult, especially being new back into knitting. And on this pattern, if you can see, it does have a very big ribbing. There's lots of ribbing at the bottom. It seems to go on for an age. It was on small 4mm needles, and yeah, but it was worth it. And I would highly recommend this pattern. I would definitely knit it again. I reach for this sweater time and time again because it's a comfy to wear, oversized. At first, with this yarn, I will say I was a little bit disappointed when I finished the sweater. It was hard to knit with. There was imperfections in the yarn, which I'd never seen in merino before. So I'd say it's a bit of a lower quality yarn, but it is at a very good price point. And my opinion has changed of this yarn after lots of wear. I have worn this through the last winter season anyway. I wore this garment at least 2 to 3 times a week. I've pilled it a couple of times, and as you can see, none of these sweaters will be depilled or anything for the purpose of the video. I want you to see what they are like coming into this new winter season. They will get a refresh after the video because a few of them do need a good depill, but this yarn has worn extremely well and softened over time. I found it quite prickly here against my neck when I was first wearing it, but it's definitely softened up. I wouldn't say it's an ultra soft yarn, but holding this double, I used I think around 590 grams for this pattern, and I've just fallen in love with this sweater more and more the more I've worn it. So if you haven't done this, I would highly recommend it. I never thought I would like a sweater quite this oversized. I've often found when I've bought tops or sweaters before, I don't like them to be too fitted to my body and my stomach area. But if I get something that's massively oversized, because I'm quite short, petite, and a size, UK size 12, I sometimes feel like I'm drowning in them, or wearing my big sister's sweater or something like that. But this one changed my opinion on an oversized sweater, and like I say, just looks, I'd say that this is, if you want a merino, you're quite sensitive, you can't tolerate a lot of the more rustic fibres, then I would definitely recommend you using this yarn and persevering. A few people have made suggestions of using fabric softener, and I've not tried that technique yet, but to take a bit of the prickle away. But I just think this turned out wonderful. It fits me well. I think at that point I just made a good choice with the size, plenty of ease on this, and just because of the colour, it goes with any pairs of pants I want to wear it with. It goes with jeans, it goes with my normal trousers. The thing with this is though, it's a casual vibe, and that's what it is. But yeah, great for everyday wear, and I absolutely love it. And I think that's everything to say, but I'd say this is definitely number one, my highest worn. Like I say, last winter season, I think I wore it well. So I can't remember when I finished it, to be honest. I should have checked that, shouldn't I? But yeah, at least 2 to 3 times a week. And I'm sure that this sweater will be one that will last a long time, because after the first initial flurry of pilling, although there is still a bit of pilling and it needs a bit of a shave now, it doesn't take a lot of care. It's quite sturdy. So yeah, I will definitely use this yarn again in the future, and I'm fully aware now of the ups and downs, but it's a very reasonable price for what you get. And here we are. Now I am wearing the Stripe High by Veronika Lindberg. This is, I finished this I think before the Pole Sweater, and it was I think this must have been my first time doing a drop shoulder construction. The Pole Sweater is a drop shoulder, but it's constructed a little bit different at the back, and hopefully you'll have been able to see that in the B-roll. But this sweater was the first one that I finished that I absolutely fell in love with and thought I had really achieved perfect fit. It's not too oversized, cozy oversized, but not too massively oversized for me. Veronika Lindberg's patterns are extremely nice to follow. I enjoyed the whole process of knitting this. The stripes made it very Moorish, and the main yarn that I used in this is Sanders Garn Double Sunday, and I used that in the colourway Almond, I think, and that's the one that she used in her version because I absolutely loved her version, but I knew I wanted to do the coloured stripes in more of purples and blues. And when I went to Yarndale, I went to Siobhan Crafts and picked up some mini skeins, and her mum helped me pick out some mini skein colours to do in this sweater. And I really think in this sweater I executed what I had thought about in my mind of what I wanted to do, so I was really pleased with that. And this yarn instantly for me soft against skin. Now it's pilled a little bit more than the Pole Sweater, but I wouldn't say much more. What I would say though is, and the reason why this is ranked 2 and not number 1 is because, and I love this construction, I definitely knit this again. I'm even tempted to knit this in a plain colour, and I do exactly the same size. If you look at this, the neckline on this is absolutely perfect for me. It just skims the bottom of my neck. It never pulls up, never rolls, never does anything. And that is, for me, for a crew neck, is absolutely perfection. Again, why it's number 2. The only thing that means this is not number 1 compared to the Pole Sweater is I find this, how can I put this? Gives me sort of, not pyjama vibes, but because of the colours I've chosen this pattern, or because it is striped in the way it is, I don't know if it's necessarily my vibe. It's my colours and I love the way it turned out, but for some reason when I'm wearing it, I struggle with what to wear it with to make it not look pyjama-y, as it were. And I can't get that thought out of my head, but I wear it a lot. It's cosy, very warm. I would definitely use this yarn again. Not sure why I haven't, but yeah, I'll definitely use it again. And these, the yarn from Siobhan Crafts, the DK weight merino, that's absolutely stunning as well. I've had to depill it a few times, a little bit more than the Pole Sweater, but as I say, I do think that that's a bit more of a sturdy yarn. This one's a little bit softer, and that's the price you pay. But again, I think this sweater is going to last for absolutely years. I love the fit of this. I love the crew neck on this. I wish I could find a lot more crew necks that did this on me rather than riding up. And yeah, so, you know, my 2 favourites so far have been drop shoulders. Can you guess what number 3 is going to be? And here we are with pattern number 3 in my ranking. And the reason this is ranked number 3 is, I'd say, out of all my sweaters, it's definitely the third in those that I gravitate to. This is the Very V-neck by Jessie Made Designs. Love it because it's a V-neck. Love where the V-neck lands on me. I think the fit of this is absolutely wonderful. The only thing that I would say with the fit of this is that I've done 3/4 length sleeves only because I ran out of yarn. I'd love to knit this again. I've done it very cropped as well, although it does work well with a couple of pairs of trousers I've got, so it doesn't seem to be an issue. Every so often when I'm wearing it, I'll think, I wish I'd have done this longer. But yeah, sometimes, this is a 3/4 length sleeve, but sometimes I do feel as though, I don't know if I can show you, but there's this gapage here, which if it was a full length sleeve, that wouldn't bother me at all. But because of where it lands, sometimes it does. This yarn is beautifully soft, absolutely beautiful against my skin, and it's the Sorella DK yarn in newsprint. My dad bought me this for Christmas a few years ago. I'd just fallen in love with it when I was watching another YouTuber and they'd use this colourway, and so when they said they were launching some more, I decided to get some to make this sweater. And yeah, as you can tell, I wear it a lot and it pills a lot. That's just a trade-off with having a very, very soft yarn. But I have got some yarn in stash to do this again. But this is a Raglan construction, which Raglan constructions are very, very easy to knit. And I've knit a few of them now. This, like I say, this sweater fits me lovely. I like the level of ease I've got on this. I just wish I could have done it a few inches longer, and I wish I could have done a full length sleeve. I clearly miscalculated the amount of yarn needed, but I think in the pattern, if I remember rightly, and this is one thing about Jessie Made's patterns, is there wasn't very much information, if I'm remembering this rightly, on how much yarn I would need. It was a little bit confusing, and she makes her garments very, very cropped for herself. So yeah, that was hard as a beginner knitter. I would obviously, going into it now, would have more things. I have bought another set of DK yarn and I've got that in stash to make it again, but I can't remember off the top of my head how much I had here, because can't remember if I had 4 skeins of this, and I think I've got 4 skeins of the other yarn, so I need to check the meterage to ensure that I can, because I don't want to do another one of these and do it exactly the same, really. I would like to do a full length sleeve version, and I would like to do it a little bit longer, like I say. Definitely wear this a lot, love it, very nice fit, very comfortable, lovely and cozy. Just like I say, the yarn's very pilly, so I do need to depill it on a regular basis, which it needs doing again by the looks of things. There's a definite fuzz overall, and yeah, now I've got a bit more knowledge of the quantities that I used, if I made the right notes, because you know what I'm like with my notes, of what I used for this. I will be able to find that information out, and then I'll be able to see if I've got enough, because if I've not got enough to do the full length sleeves, I probably won't do it again. But this is a style and fit that I really, really enjoy. First one that's a Raglan, I think, that's you know, coming to the top one. This is number 3 on my list, but again, it's one I wear all the time, and it's very, very cozy and soft. Would I do it in the Sorella again? I probably would. It's a really nice DK yarn, But being that it's from America and the cost of it and all that, I'm sure I can get an alternative in the UK or a commercial yarn and make this top still as nice, but, you know, to more reasonable rate. The second version that I'm hoping to do is in a UK. Oh, what I would say as well is that the colour of this makes it very, very wearable, and goes with most things. So it's very versatile in my wardrobe as well. Whereas obviously number 2, my stripe hype, the colours in that mean it hinders me, you know, knowing what to wear it with. And here we have the Porcelain sweater, which is by Lene, Holme, Samsøe. And this sweater was knit with 2 Chaos Merino yarns. That was the pale lilac and the more deeper berry purple in the centre. And the bright pop of colour is a colour from my creative garage. And then the main yarn is a the Saskie Co Luma, which is an unusual blend of yarns in that it's 50% wool, 25% cotton, 10% linen and 10% silk. Now this yarn is a bit more, it's soft on your skin, but quite cool because of I presume that's because of the cotton and the linen and the silk. But it's lovely to wear, very, very comfortable to wear against skin. It pills a lot, and as you can see, it definitely needs a deep pill. I didn't know where to put that then. And so it's definitely not as hard wearing as some of the other sweaters, like the Paul sweater. I must say, I love the colours of this. A lot of good things to say. Again, do I wish I'd done, I've got this gaping again at the bottom of the sleeve here because I've done a 3/4 length and it's not shaped, which I don't know what to think about that. Means it sometimes looks a bit weird, I think, because it's a 3/4. I maybe should have done a full length again. I probably would have been happier with it at full length. I do wear this quite often, but not as often as I thought I would because I love these pops of colour. And I was inspired by someone on Instagram who'd also done a lovely bright, because this original sweater pattern is done in a traditional cream and blue, like the old-fashioned porcelain. And I wasn't drawn to the sweater initially with those colour choices, but then when I saw that someone had done a pops of colour and done a really bright fun version, it really called out to me. So I got these most of these yarns, apart from the My Creative Garage yarn, the other yarns I got from Tangled Yarns in Stockport. And I went there, and it's a mother and daughter who were in the shop, and they run and own the shop. And they were so helpful. I mean, they spent absolute ages with me. I was very new back knitting then, and quite inexperienced in matching yarns to patterns and understanding the complexity of all that. And they were really, really helpful. She recommended this yarn because she loves the knitting experience and to wear it. And she wasn't wrong. It was a joy to knit with. I enjoyed it. And I absolutely loved doing the colour work. It wasn't anywhere near as hard as I expected, and the pattern was very well written. The only thing I would say is that out of all the sweaters, the main part of the body, and again, I wish I had full length sleeves on this. I think it would be easier, although in some circumstances I am quite glad that I've got the 3/4 length sleeves, like when I'm working, or you know, when you're doing the dishes, doing household chores, that sort of thing. But I don't like the neckline on this sweater. it seems to ride up, and also it pulls away forward. Now that might be something, thinking about it now and talking to you, that I might be able to put some elastic in and make that look better, but I just think it doesn't. And also I don't know if it's the weight of the garment, because I know I think cotton can be quite heavy. As I'm wearing the garment over the day, it stretches out and goes wider and wider and wider. Now I've refreshed this recently. I didn't depill it, but I have washed it all before I put them away. It's sort of, I knew I wasn't going to be wearing them again just at the beginning of the summer. But yeah, it stretches out over time, so I don't think it looks as good as it could. I still think I've got the fit quite good on this, but yeah, there's those few tweaks, and I don't gravitate to it as much as the others because I don't like the neckline. So my question to you is, have you knit this sweater? Have you had the same issues with the neckline? What can I do to fix it? Because I don't want to, I would like to wear this sweater more. And should I see if, I can't remember how much of this loomer, is that what it's called? I can't remember how much of, yeah, this, the fibre coat loomer I have left in stash, if any. I would have to have a look. It's a while ago now. Is it worth me going back in and adding that extra band of colour work and making it full length sleeves? Can I do something with this neckline? Should I rip it out? Should I try elastic? What do you think? I'd love to hear your recommendations, because I would like to just get this so it's more wearable, because I do love the colours and it feels lovely on me, and it would be a shame for it to not be in rotation. So number 5 in my list of sweaters that I am rating today, and one that I haven't really worn that often, is a Mudo by Saskie Co, I think it is. And this is knit in lovely fibre, which is 100% yak, if I'm remembering rightly, from Ula and Leah. And it's done in a, I don't know what the colourway is called, but it's not my usual colour. And that's one of the reasons that I'm not wearing it as much as I should. I think the fit is pretty good. Unfortunately, I feel like the sleeves are a lovely fit, lovely length. I get a very slight prickle when I first put this on, but that soon disappears. It's a very, very warm fibre. And if you know me by now, you'll probably know what the problem is with this sweater. Now, I think I just followed the pattern and did the short rows as it stated in the pattern, because at this point I wasn't very confident and really didn't know that in a lot of patterns I need to add a few extra, which is becoming quite obvious. But if you look at the neckline, I don't like that this instantly rides up and is around my neck there. It really irritates me. But like I say, the rest of the garment, absolutely lovely. It's not necessarily this colour would be something I would be drawn to knitting with again. If I could fix the neckline, I would definitely wear it a lot more. I can't really say much about how the fibre wears. There isn't much pilling on it, but I don't think I've worn it that often since I finished it. And it's because of this, it just irritates me. Now, how can I fix this neckline going forward? And how can I prevent knits having this in the future? So I think what I am going to have to do is get a lot more confident, like I say, at doing extra short rows. That's one reason. And then looking more closely at the necklining details, the fits, that sort of thing. Leaning more towards V-necks rather than crew necks. Although I would like some crew necks, but just obviously I would like this neckline to be down here. So if I go like this and sort of try to tuck it in, you're going to get an idea of where I would prefer As long as it's just at the base of my neck here, I'm absolutely fine with it. The problem being with this is don't think I'm confident to do it. And also when I've done that in the mirror and looked at it, it's very close to that first line of colour work. Now I could just take the neckline out and do an I-cord finish, but I'm thinking that that's going to look peculiar with me having the chunky rib, the 2x2 on here and having that on the bottom. What do you think? Could I add more short rows at this point? I don't know. I'd love your feedback on this one because as you can see, it's hardly worn. It doesn't actually seem to pill that bad, but I do find it a bit jarring that the sleeves are lovely and fitted. I like the fit of the sleeves, but then when you look at the body, it's quite loose. It could have done with maybe having some waist shaping, or maybe just a few decreases after the colour work maybe. I'm not sure, but it just does seem, and I can't really remember the ins and outs of the pattern. It's quite a simple pattern. It's a great one for anyone who wants to try colour work for the first time. I'd highly recommend this yarn because I do like the Ula and Leah yarns. They lean heavy, so heavy DK, heavy fingering when you get them, but they're very, very good quality. They last, and like I say, this one's hardly pilled, but I've not worn it enough really to give a definite answer on whether it does pill loads or not. But again, I think this will last for years. I think it could be a lovely different sweater in my wardrobe. I just need to fix this neckline because I'm not wearing it with this neckline like this, unfortunately. And this is number 6. It's the last sweater that I'm going to be talking to you about today. And this is the Cozy Classic Raglan by Jessie Made Designs. And I've knit this with Drops Alpaca in a cream colour. And then I used Mammy and Flurry Surrey Cloud. And that was Salmon Skies Over the Sage, I think. And I was inspired to do a colour combination like this, which was a cream base as the main colour, and then the rainbow fluff added to it by a sweater that I saw, the woolly, what the hell is she called now? The Woolly Worker, sorry. I'm not sure why I didn't realise that. Remember that, I mean. So yeah, the Woolly Worker did a sweater. I think it was a brioche or a fisherman's rib sort of thing. And it was in this sort of colour combination like this. And I thought, oh yeah, I'd love to have that in my wardrobe. Instantly I've put this on. And even though it's the alpaca Surrey lace, I'm still getting a little prickle. I think it does fade as I wear it. It's ultra cozy. It feels like a hug when you put it on. And the Mammy and Flurry Surrey lace, I'm sure, is a fabulous fibre. And I absolutely love Drops Alpaca. What I would say is the body fits lovely. Again, I've got the problem with the neck. It's coming up too high for me. So that's something that I need to think about fixing if I want to make this wearable. What I would say is that overall, compared to my other cream garments, this is too bright for me. I don't really feel that it goes well with things, even though it's just cream. I find it a bit too stark, I think a bit too bright. And the arms. These arms are way too long for me. It grew so much. And for some reason, my ribbing just looks terrible. I have done a Italian bind off. So I've done the 2 setup rows, which you can... I don't know, my ribbon's so loosey-goosey that I don't know if you can see on camera, but I can actually visibly see those setup rounds. And it looks nice, but makes it quite cinch in a bit, which I'm surprised at, because now when I do it, you know, it is quite stretchy. And I've done the same at the bottom. Now, whether it's because in my recent garments that I've finished, I have done the sewn bind off, but I've not done the setup rounds, which I think makes it the tubular. I may be wrong in my understanding of that. I'm not 100% sure, but I think if I was to do this again, I would just do the sewn off without them setup rounds. The setup rounds obviously make my tension quite tight on this garment, because it's the same on the bottom of the body, and it cinches it in, which means that it sort of, even though it's a cozy oversize, it bunches around the bottom. And yeah, the fluff, I'm not, although this is lovely and cozy, and it would be nice if I could fix the neckline and I would wear it. And I think I actually am tempted to go back in and fix these sleeves, because the perfect length for me is where there's no ribbing. So I know that that would be great. Any tips, any suggestions? I'm not really sure what to do with this one. Is it a fail? Is it just, and you mean I don't want to just get rid of it? It would look lovely paired with jeans. And yeah, I've not worn it much because of the prickle. And the thing is, with me, the prickle is always worse around the top of my necks here, and occasionally I get it near my armpits, and along my arms a bit. But that I can deal with it on my arms, and it normally fades once the sweater's warmed up. You know, and this is so cozy, this sweater, and it's made in, you know, some lovely fibres. It's just that I can't, the sensation of this pulling against my neck here, which is a running theme, and then the prickle makes it so I don't want to wear it, and I don't want to gravitate to it. So again, it literally just needs to be that little bit tucked in, and I'd be more than happy to wear this more often. To be fair, probably with this fibre, if it was a bit of a V-neck, it would be even better, but I know that's not possible to change that now. I'm not really sure that it's a sweater that I would want to frog. Again, it's not a colour combination I would probably do again. I think it's just that the alpaca is a bit stark, but I was thinking, you know, winter wonderland colours and all that, and if I could get the fit a bit better, I would probably feel nicer in it. Having it on now, it does feel very, very cozy, but it's not one I gravitate to. Over this, I would probably pick my Paul sweater, and I'd say overall that is the most successful of all these garments. Now, it's not to say that I don't like the fit of these other garments, and I would like to find a raglan that works for me. And this might be where doing a bit more research and being able to confidently add extra short rows to make sure the neckline is where I want it to be, and being confident in trying on and knowing the neckline is right or wrong before I get too far in a pattern to make the alterations. But it has been great to go through these sweaters, pull them out and have a chat with you about it. Have you looked in your wardrobe back at your knits and what you've learnt? I've obviously know now that I do like a drop shoulder. I prefer a V-neck over a crew neck, but I would like to find some crew necks that do fit me and my body shape, and to be able to knit patterns that I'm much more happy with the final fit and fibres that work well with the patterns I'm choosing. And it's all about learning in the knitting, isn't it? It's nice to reflect and think about what I've enjoyed from each of these patterns. I think that was all I wanted to talk to you about today. If you have enjoyed this video, I will have another one coming up sometime soon, not sure when. I'm hoping to do a summer version of this with my tees and summer tops, and I'll do my 6 again. I'll do 3 of each because I think that works quite well. I feel like I've had more success with summer garments to winter garments, but I may be surprised when I start going through them. And don't forget to subscribe so that you can see when that pops up on the channel. Like the video if you've got to the end and you've enjoyed it. And I'd love to hear in your comments, what are your go-to things in patterns that you like? What yarns have you enjoyed most, and what are your most worn sweaters, and what have you learnt from the least worn? Thank you very much for watching, and happy knitting, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.